why we decided to start this podcast, because I think that that's really to the point. Yeah. So we met each other on Twitch. We both stream on Twitch, in case you guys haven't picked up on that. We met each other on Twitch, and I think I rated you.
That is entirely possible. It's also entirely possible in the other direction, because we've rated each other how many times since, and
I know. I think it was me. They had just given us the new writing and reading category, and I was so excited to meet other writers on Twitch. And so every time I was doing like a productivity stream. So I only stream, for you guys to know, at this time, I only stream writing once a week. I stream games the rest of the time. Whereas Catrina, I think, mostly streams writing and
I stream
writing related things.
I stream sometimes 7 days a week. And of those 7 days, there's a very good chance 7 of those days will be writing related. Writing productivity, writing question and answer, writing chit chat, whatever is going on, it's writing. And cat chaos. There's a lot of cat chaos. I have lots of cats. They get in this cat chaotic. But those are
Oh, sorry. What were you saying?
Those are my streams most days. But I like you. Once they gave us that writing and reading category, I had already been integrated with a lot of the writers here on Twitch.
Yeah, you already had like basically a whole network, right?
Mm-hmm. But the writing and reading category specifically gave us the opportunity to connect with those like you who are only in the writing and reading category sometimes. Yeah. And I love that they have been trying, the Twitch Writers Network has been trying to get a writing related category now for 8 years, I think.
Wow.
And they finally gave it to us last year.
Yeah. Well, and it's been great. I was so excited at first. So that's why I think that because I was just rating someone new every time. And I think I rated you, and like everybody I rated was lovely and kind. You and I just like hit it off right away, and then we found out we also played a lot of the same games. And sorry, my cat is like literally purring into the microphone right now, so you're getting like an extra cat. It's 3 cats writing right now. I think so we came over there. You immediately, when we started talking, you immediately offered me resources, like free resources and advice for marketing. Like you were like, I'm going to send you this and this and this, because that's how great you are. And then we just like kind of hit it off, and then I'm pretty sure, and like it was interesting to talk about the differences and the similarities in what we were doing, like along our separate paths, like what things were basically the same parts of our process, and then what felt just like completely different. I think we both found that like just kind of fascinating, and it's kind of weird to me that there is really like a huge divide, I think, between indie writers and traditionally published writers. Like your whole writing network on Twitch is like, I haven't found any other traditionally published writers on Twitch. They might be there, but I haven't found any of them doing writing on Twitch. Everyone's been an indie writer. Mm-hmm. It's like they're 2 separate worlds somehow, and I think that there's a lot of misunderstanding or like I don't want to say bad feeling on both sides, but sometimes, or at least negative views of one or the other path. And but you and I are kind of like, I don't know, like I have so much respect for you, and I think it goes both ways.
Absolutely. It absolutely does, because it takes a lot to go through the query process. It takes a lot to deal with the gatekeepers. It takes a lot to go through that process, even to just get recognized. Forget signed. Yeah. That's just getting started. And I only barely touched on that process early on before I decided to go indie, and it was
Yeah.
already daunting to me then. Uh,
Whereas I find what you're doing so much more daunting, like the idea of having to be in charge of getting your own cover. You know, like I just saw, this is like on the down low kind of, but I just saw like the maybe finished concept for a maybe cover thingamabob. But I didn't have to organize that. I didn't, like there are designers involved. Like there are other people doing that. There's other people kind of taking care of all of that stuff. And so to me, the idea of having to organize all that myself and like just logistically, let alone like I feel like I wouldn't even know where to start. Though, for those of you out there feeling the same way, but feeling like that might be the path for you, Catrina is such a great resource because she'll tell you exactly where to start and what you need to focus on, like very clearly. And maybe if I had met you specifically before I chose my path, maybe I would have chosen a different path. I don't know. I'm really happy right now, like I said, but
I think this is working great for you, and I would hate to see you just change mid path. So I'm
yeah, I
going
don't think
to
I would.
share a quick tidbit for everybody. Something that Publishers Weekly has been tracking since the start of what I consider to be and what many have called the indie revolution in publishing. um, they've been tracking sales numbers for both independents and traditionally published authors, and the people who are paying their bills the best and who are making great positions as brands and as individuals and making a name for themselves are neither indie nor traditional. They're hybrid. They're doing both. Those are the people,
Which is a whole other thing.
absolutely. Those are the people who are making money consistently because they have books that other people are marketing for them when they have to run off to the basketball game. They have books that are other people are working with them on when they have to go and take care of a family member. Whereas those of us who are indie, our biggest obstacle is time. We can do
Mm.
all of this without any problems with the right guidance, training, and support, which are now available, which not available when I started this journey. But they are now because there's so many like me that are just like, I'm tired of this not being out there and so many people stopping because this isn't there. So they've made things available. And obviously, those in traditional publishing were not excited about those of us who are in indie to start with. But they have come to see that we can be professional, we can meet quality standards, we do understand the concepts that need to be applied and why they need to be applied. And we are producing professional quality products today. Not so much when we were starting because we didn't know what we were doing. And that left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths because they weren't seeing it from the perspective of this is a brand new industry. This is a brand new opportunity. And so we've come a long, long way as independents, but it's the hybrids that are still blowing us out of the water. It's the people who are doing both that are making the most money because like you, they publish traditionally and then they take their nice, pretty finished manuscript after however long their little finished publishing journey is, recover it and publish it on their own.
Yeah, the rights do revert back to you eventually too. That's definitely a thing. There's so much I didn't know about publishing. Like so much of publishing is such a mystery, and I think wouldn't make sense to anyone outside the industry. And obviously, I'm talking about traditional publishing right here. Like it's all so mysterious. And you were saying like indie authors, like it's a matter of time, but you can do all those things. I'll tell you, like we have time.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much time. but it certainly is a challenge. I think it's very hard to get an agent, I think, and then once you have an agent, you think like, oh, I've won, I made it. But then you don't realize how daunting it's going to be on sub and like have your agent submitting manuscripts to publishers and how long that can drag on and how disheartening that can feel when it's not going the way that you want it to or the way your agent wants it to. So there's definitely, I don't know, pros and cons to both things. It's just, I think that the thing that you and I have wanted to do is be able to listen to and talk about the pros and cons together and talk about them at the same time, because I think most of the time when you're getting a list of, when you're having someone talk about the pros and cons of either indie publishing or traditional publishing, they're coming from a viewpoint of valuing one over the other.
Mm-hmm.
And so our goal is to not do that. Our
Exactly.
goal here is to talk about these as sort of distinct but parallel industries that have the same end goal of selling books, like getting good books out there. And so yeah, we started talking about that. I think the way that this happened was we made a joke about starting a podcast, and then once again, in true ADHD fashion, we spontaneously said, yeah, okay, we're gonna do it. Like it just became a plan that one day.
It's kind of funny because I had been talking about starting a podcast with someone for a while, and everyone that I kept thinking about as to good candidates to work with were all people from a different perspective in this. One of the people I considered talking to actually focuses on nonfiction versus fiction, and I write predominantly fiction.
Ooh. Mm-hmm.
And he has actually sold his KDP business, and he focused mostly on KDP, which I do not. Also, I'm a wide author, so there's a lot of things that I do different than a lot of other people. We'll call that ADHD, or we'll call this I refuse to put all my eggs in one basket, or we could say I'm separating everybody. Whatever you want to call it, it all works. But
so we joked about it.
Mm-hmm.
We decided to do it. We're like, yep, we're doing a podcast.
Yep. When it came in a joke,
I feel like we decided it one day. Like
Yes.
we just like we were just like in a VC together.
Mm-hmm.
While one of us was streaming, or both of us were streaming, maybe even.
Yeah, I think we were both streaming.
Both streaming.
We said,
and we just decided to do it.
Yeah, you may have joked it, and I immediately said, oh, why did I think of that? Like, that's what went off in my head. And I jumped on that, and then I think Decaf or whoever else was in the VC with us said something. That sounds like a good idea. And then both our chats had at least one person or a couple of people showed up with, that would be fun. And it was just, it's been.
And then there we were. And here we are.
So, like, we determined we were good to do it, and we got market confirmation that this was a good idea from those right there saying it was a good idea all at once.
I'm so excited. Like every time you say like that you've published 65 books, I kind of die a little bit inside, because that's so huge to me. Like that's so. I'm not a super fast writer. I'm not super prolific. And like I said, I only started writing, like I wrote my first novel just a few years ago, which I'm actually hoping to revive that first novel, by the way, someday. We'll see what happens. I have plans for it. But right now I'm obviously pretty focused on the book I have under contract, and it was a 2-book deal, so I have another book that I don't know that I can talk about yet exactly. That's another thing that we'll be talking about on the podcast, is about how I can't talk about things a lot of the time because of the fact that I'm under contracts, and like there are professional concerns involved with like I need to be very careful about not revealing anything too early, about not talking about anything that isn't explicitly contracted and explicitly public yet. Whereas Catrina, you are the publisher, so you can talk about whatever you want, whenever you want.
Mm-hmm. And you will hear me say many, 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 many times to all authors, you should be talking about the creation you're doing before you publish it, before you query it, before you anything, because you got to build a community. You got to build your connections. So you'll hear me say that a lot. Now, once you query it, once you got that under contract, you got to follow your contract. So there's that.
Yeah. Yes, you do.
And follow it hard, because the last thing you want to do is mess that up. But
right, don't tank your careers, friends. Meet your deadlines and follow the rules. It's funny because I wasn't always such a rule follower. I hadn't really necessarily intended to talk about this, but like, I did try to do in music what you're doing in publishing now, like way back. So before there was an indie writing revolution, there was an indie music revolution. And I don't just mean like indie the genre, but way back there was at the birth of mp3.com, there was a whole movement and musicians who had started like going out on their own rather than just being having their music published by their recordings published by labels and produced by labels. Ani DeFranco is one of the people I always think of as being on the forefront of that, because her Righteous Babe Records was her own record label, and that was just not something that people did back then who were serious about having a career, and but with digital music sharing becoming a thing and it becoming much more easy to distribute things digitally and find an audience, there was kind of this whole revolution around that, and mp3.com was like a big part of that. And I was doing this singer-songwriter thing at the time. I had been, I was on the road with a play. This is still when I was acting professionally. I had started playing the guitar and was writing songs, and I wrote a lot of songs while I was on the road, and I wrote a bunch when I got back, and recorded my own album. But I was sharing that music online, and I think in retrospect, I think that this might have played a part in my decision to not do this with writing, because I recorded that album, right? I hired the engineers and had a producer and made the album and distributed it through CD Baby, which at the time was the platform really for selling self-produced music, and that you could sell CDs through them. And they shifted to, now I think they mostly do digital. No, they probably still have hardcover CDs. Who knows? But in any case,
for them.
You guys have never heard of me. That album, it's there and it's out and it's available on all your streaming services, whatever.
And you guys
for now, but and it's been there. But you guys have never heard of me because that didn't go that well. I didn't publicize my work well. I didn't know I couldn't be Ani DeFranco. I didn't know how to make a career that way. And so when it came around to writing, I'm well, I'm not going to do that again. Because I obviously didn't have it in me. To be everything, to be the producer, to be the distributor, to be the person getting the music out there and selling it. And I guess I kind of learned that about myself at the time, and so I'm sure that fed into my decision to do this now. But it's funny because no one thinks now of artists taking control of their own work as being a negative thing. Taylor
Right.
Swift, got the rights back to her music, and obviously that's an extreme example of someone extremely rich and successful doing that,
But
but like nobody thinks like, oh, that's a mistake.
right, exactly. And it's her position as an extremely wealthy, well-known artist that makes it less weird, less frowned
Yeah.
upon. I have many times dealt with, even today, there's a couple of authors that if I'm in an online forum and someone's talking about authors or getting published and they try to talk about why they should go one or the other, and I consider providing my experience, I have gotten to the point where I have to look for some of those authors that are going to spew toxic venom into the
Mm,
conversation, and then I just don't respond. At least not publicly.
yeah.
I'll sometimes respond to send someone a private message like, "Look, I've been doing this for more than a decade now. There are resources out there to do the thing if this is the way you want to go, but just don't rush it and don't assume that just because you finish the manuscript it's ready for querying or it's ready for publishing, because it's not. Just
Yeah.
because you finished it, there's more steps, and those will come later in the podcast. We'll tell you more about what makes it professional, what makes it ready for publication. We're also going to tell you what is enough.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I feel like obviously one of the advantages of traditional publishing is someone else decides that for you when is enough. You know, someone else says, "Yes, this is finished and it's going to go out now." And you don't have to make that judgment call yourself, which I think has to be like difficult and I don't know, kind of daunting, like terrifying. Like I've decided this is enough and I'm putting it out there. What if people don't agree? Like has to be a little scary.
I am 65 books in, and every time I go to hit publish, I will tell you it is absolutely terrifying. But
Yeah.
I
Well,
know I have the experience now. I know I have the
right.
knowledge now. And if anybody tries to tell you their first 5 books, they are suddenly professionals, just smile and nod, smile and nod, and remember that they are still learning too, and that
Yeah.
they will accept their position in another 4 or 5 books. They will accept reality. Because if you need
Well,
probably, I would imagine 10. 10 because you got to get through this process a handful of times to know what you're doing. You got to know what you're looking at. And I think that applies to both sides, but we'll explore that more deeper or more
yeah, for
deeply
sure.
because you're
I
learning
think
these things.
yeah, yeah. Well, I certainly hope that we all become like consistently become better writers
Oh,
over time and better editors of our own work over time too. Like, you know, I work with my agent editorially. Like he's a very editorial agent, and certainly the editorial process on the book that's coming out now, like between us, was like it went on for a while, and then while we had that book on sub, I wrote another book, and when we got into the revision process for that, like it really just took like one edit letter from him, and then he was like, "Oh, after that, like, oh, you nailed this." And and hopefully you guys will see that book sometime in the future too, but it'll be way in the future cuz I'm in traditional publishing. So, you know,
maybe,
someday.
maybe we'll both find a way through this podcast to go hybrid.
Maybe.